Are live. Sorry for the delays. We just wanted to make sure to get our audio situation was worked out. Like last time, we had so many headaches and problems. So we want to make sure we don't have that same issue like we did last time. Hello, this is Talk of the Ages. I am your host, Marcus Cage, here with my distinguished young colleague and phenom, Mr. Jalen Lawson. How are we doing tonight, Jalen?
I'm all right, man. Just was there. I was actually excited to do the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this show. Also, some interesting topics. My glasses are a little bit foggy, and we also will have our first guest. So I'm very excited about that. Um, for those who do not know, tonight's show we will be talking a little bit of wokeness. So hopefully that is a interesting topic, and you guys don't beat us up too much on some of our probably very strong views on it. Um, but before we get started, I want to bring in our first guest to the show. Our first guest to the show is Mr. Cy Lawson, my co-host on the Political Matrix. How are we doing tonight, Cy?
Oh, I think he's muted.
Yeah, he's muted. We'll give him a second to come in.
He's on BPT, man.
Well, it's kind of interesting. We talk about BPT, for those who don't know, Black People Time, or CPT, how they used to say it back in the day, Colored People Time. Um, we're going to be talking about some issues dealing with, race and issues like that. So it is going to be fun. How are we doing, Cy Lawson from the Political Matrix? How are we doing tonight?
What's good, fellas? I'm all right. Just here chilling.
Good, man. We're glad to have you. You're our first official guest.
Oh, all right.
So,
That's what's up.
so that's a big deal. We're gonna have definitely more. I see we got Mona sitting out there in the wings. So glad to have her here. As always, whenever she's able to join us, it's always a good night. So definitely excited to get into this topic. For those who saw the title, I guess I got a little smutch or whatever. And Mona
What's up,
says,
Mona?
"Hey, Chris." But and I see we have Variant in the building also. Definitely want to make sure to do a shout out. My glasses are just horribly smudged. And if you got and if we got any
Variant,
problems
what's
with
up?
the audio, please let us know. I know the last show I had to like literally come back and put in the comment section like, if you want, go on ahead and skip 30 minutes in, because that's how long it took for us to get our audio, together. So I might even decide to try to go back and like, repost that episode and just skip the first 30 minutes out of it. Um, but nonetheless, we still got into some good topics once we got going. So this topic was something that kind of was sitting in the back of my head a little bit. I noticed it, and then I actually had Chris actually reached out to me about this topic, and Jalen had been talking a little bit loosely about some of these issues, so I thought it would just be perfect to bring Chris right on over. That's funny. Um, I thought we'd
I
bring
know. I
Chris
saw
over.
that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And hopefully it's not like one of those Usher "You Remind Me" situations, where but
I'll be
hopefully,
right back,
this
guys.
is a good and fun topic that we want to get into. Apparently, Chris, like I said before, Chris brought this story to our attention, and this is something we had kind of been touching around the edges and hadn't really got into directly. But apparently, the head of Disney, um, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong when you come back in, Chris, or anybody in the crowd, or Jalen, if I say it wrong.
Mhm.
Bob Chapek, I believe, who is the head of Disney.
You said
It,
tap it.
Chapek.
Okay, I'm gonna.
He's apparently the head of Disney. And for those who don't know who Kevin Feige is, or I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right. I know his name is spelled funky compared to how it's allegedly said, but I think it's Kevin Foggy. He decided that he wanted to go a more, I guess, woke approach. And though he's kind of been doing it for a little bit of time,
Yeah, Bob.
it yes, thank you. Yeah, he's been doing it for a little bit of a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's kind of been all right in some kind of small doses and on some things. I've definitely felt. And first, I want to put this disclaimer out there, at least speaking for myself, and I'll let Jalen and Chris lay out their thoughts on it also. But I did want to see more characters of color and a little bit more diversity in the comic books, but I didn't want to see it at the expense of completely changing around the comics and tearing down, whole storylines and things like that. So I like, for instance, you want to bring in more black characters. You had Luke Cage out there. That was one which you guys could really give him, more of a storyline. You had Blade. You could have
Yeah.
redone that, and there's more and more and more, ones which you can bring out. There are female characters which don't get the highlight that they should get, and that I feel like it would be nice to see them promoted. But when you start saying that we need to take the ones who have kind of established themselves. And so what if it's a white male who, this when it was originally written, that's how it was written. I wouldn't want them to go back and, movies which I know, like for instance, go erase the Equalizer franchise and decide to go put a white female and take it over because they feel like, well, it's toxic because Denzel's a man. I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen. So I feel the same way with a lot of these things. And as a kid, literally, I grew up. Batman was my favorite. I didn't have a problem with Batman being white. I mean, and when we were kids, anyway, you know, there weren't any black billionaires, at least not in America. So it's not far fetched to see a white man being, being a billionaire who creates all this technology. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is I don't have a problem with diversity overall. I don't have a problem with bringing in, different characters and females and a bunch of different, diversity which they're trying to do. But my issue is when you start really stripping things apart and going in a drastic view just for wokeness. So I guess let me see. Uh, Thank you very much. Didn't they make a little? They make Little Mermaid black. I don't know. Did they?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think they did. I just saw this play by LeBron. That's why my face was like, whoa.
But I guess let me turn it over to let's turn it over to Jay, and then I'm pretty sure Chris has a lot that he wants to say on it. So let's turn it over to Jay real quick, and then let's hear what our guest has to say after that.
So I'll touch a little lightly on what you said about your superheroes being black, white, or whatever the case may be. One thing I always noticed in superheroes, well, my dad used to read the comics or show us the comics when I go to my grandparents. You had the old comic collection, but it was never. I was never, or my friends and I, we were never thinking of Superman.
Jalen, speak up a little bit.
Closer to my laptop. Can you guys hear me better now?
Be a little bit louder.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. So with between me and my friends or just myself, it was never a thing of, oh, it's a black actor not playing a role, or it was just we came to see a superhero. Even though we were white, it was just that's just what the superheroes were. You weren't really thinking of it much for a race in that context. You were just thinking of it because all the sci-fi stuff and the cool superpowers they had. Because you just wanted to fly like Superman. You wanted the laser eyes. You weren't thinking of, oh, Superman's white. Like I feel, especially the last few years, 5 to 7 years, they've turned it into a black or white thing. And as you've seen as of late in 2020, a lot of films, a lot of shows have had these Black Lives Matter messages or pro-black messages, but it seems disingenuous. It seems like you're only trying to capture or captivate on what's been going on and what they've made of it in the media, rather than you just saying, okay, I want to switch it up. And I saw a comment by Mona that I actually wanted to highlight. She said that she thinks the best actor should get the job. Now I can agree with that. Whether black or white, if I can outact you, I can outact you. So now it turns into who has the better skill rather than, oh, it's a white or black thing. And I see it even in jobs. Even when you're applying and things like that, they're so quick to hire for diversity just because you're black, even if you're not the best skilled for the job. And it's the same thing with these comics. I don't think there's a big issue on who's black or who's white. I just want to see some dope comics. And Disney, just don't be stingy. But I want to turn
Oh,
it over. We can turn it over to Silos.
yeah. Very, very curious to hear my man's point of view.
Well, I was like part-time nerd and part-time hardhead growing up, right? So, um, I'm very well versed in a lot of this stuff as it relates to like Marvel and DC Comics, or just any of the cartoons that was on after school when we were kids, right? We didn't have
Hmm.
the internet. With that being said, to Mona's last comment when she says white people are way too represented, right? Um,
Yeah.
well, it's their creation, right? It's Marvel, it's DC, they created it.
Hmm.
Um, the issue that we run into is that when we get these ideas, we take our ideas to their houses and we give it to them. And when they decide to season the food up, we're like, damn, that's not really what I had in mind. So
Mm.
that's where another issue comes in about ownership. Like if you want to see representation done properly, you have to own the kitchen, so to
Yeah.
speak. You can't just bring your raw food to their house and expect them to do it justice. That's one thing we have to think about. Secondly, I agree with Marcus. I don't necessarily want to see them just um, take every white character and destroy them for the sake of having a black character, Hispanic character,
Yep.
Asian woman, a Muslim woman. Here's my thing. You can create new characters for these
Hmm.
programs. You can do it. It's just so lazy how they're doing it.
Yeah.
There's no real thought pattern to it. It's let's just take Iron Man, make the new Iron Man a black girl. We'll just call her a genius, make her
Well,
great at all these things,
you
and
know what they're gonna do, right? They said that they're just gonna make Iron Man be his daughter, I think.
well, I mean, if they were going to make his daughter be the new Iron Man, then that's going a bit off of what they did in the books. In the books, they just found this genius black girl. I think her name is Riri Williams or something to that effect.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm wrong. I am wrong. I am wrong. They hinted at the daughter in when they show Iron Man die, but they did talk about the Riri Williams character, and that's caused a lot of problems. Yeah. Sorry about that, Chris.
No, it's all good. And then, I just brought up Iron Man for one. There's several other characters that they are changing either from straight to gay, from black to white, from male to female, et cetera, et cetera. Most of what we're seeing now is more female ensembles, more women taking over the role traditionally held by male characters. Uh, I mean, look, Captain America took a super serum and he was super strong. You know, hold on, let me see. I'll play devil's advocate here as okay. No, agreed. We don't think it's a bad thing. What we're saying is what we don't as fans of the medium, I don't necessarily want to see you just get rid of Peter Parker as Spider-Man and
Hmm.
just insert Miles Morales and kill off Peter Parker just for the sake of having a black
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Not only that,
Like
they're doing it in the video game too. Notice before they even released Spider-Man 2 for video game fans out there, they released the Miles Morales right after. And then when they did the Into the Spider-Verse, dope movie, but then they went with the Peter Parker died, now Miles Morales, the Spider-Man route.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I'll get back
that
to
was
Wesley's comment, but as a Black Puerto Rican, I kind of I did like that. I did like it, but I felt like the way they did it in the movie, being into the Spider Verse, being that okay, in these different verses, there are different iterations of Spider-Man. I thought that was cool. I like that. You had female Spider-Man, you had Spider-Man who's kind of like a dope in another one where Spider-Man he's kind of like a little bit older and kind of over the hill. I liked all of those different aspects. So another one where he's like literally like part spider. I thought that was cool, but when you start going to the aspect of killing off the original Spider-Man, I don't really like when you start ripping apart characters like that. Especially, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I love the Peter Parkers they played in the movie. I think the casting has been kind of shitty for most of them. I mean, the only one that I actually liked is one which I'm sure a lot of people don't really love much. I like the Andrew Garfield the most. He reminded me of the most of the comic book version of Spider-Man, where he was a little bit of a nerd, but he was kind of a smartass at the same time, and then he had a little bit of physicality. He wasn't just a complete like shove him in the locker nerd.
and to Mona's point too about minorities. For instance, the X-Men have Storm, and this is where my argument. Oh, this is what I say to my friends all the time. This is where capitalism, if you will, or corporatism, whatever, kills the art, right? Because you
Yeah.
have this art, this X-Men, there's writers, artists, illustrators, colorists, etc., who work on these characters, right? So you'll have someone like Storm, and they won't do her justice, but they'll take Thor and make like a black woman Thor, and it's just like you could have
Well,
focused on the character you already had.
that I believe they're gonna make Natalie Portman Thor. So I'm like, I don't even know how that even works, but that's what I'm hearing that it's going to be. I want to go back to Wesley's comment before I forget it, and then we'll get back onto this topic because he had a really good comment there. It said it seems like the film Black Panther triggered some people. Now they're injecting racial elements into the stories that never had any before. Exactly, very good point, Wesley. And none of us have a problem with like Black Panther is I wish they did it so long ago. And a lot of people get triggered about it because they're not really comic book heads like that. And so they think oh, well, they got to do some black thing. And it's like, but that's doing the story how it's supposed to be done. Even if they go the route of making, Suri the next Black Panther, though I would feel it's kind of rushed because it does get to a point where in the comics she does become Black Panther. Um, I just feel like you kind of got to go a little bit more with T'Challa before you jump to that, and because his story never got fully flushed out, and I know there's a big affinity for the way Chadwick portrayed the character, but you got to still do the character justice, and you can't put the actor over the character themselves. You know, what do you guys think? Am I onto something there? A little bit off.
I get what you're saying because they kind of did the Fast and Furious series. They did the same thing with Paul Walker.
Yeah,
Even though it was sad the way he went out, didn't his brother play him?
yeah, and
Yeah, he
well,
didn't.
they used two of his brothers in the long shots,
Oh, okay, got
and
you.
they used Paul Walker's kind of face over it, and I felt like you could have still kind of did that with some cameos, or else. In all honesty, I know it's hard to do for some people, but maybe you should have actually just went ahead and killed off the character and,
Look, I
and
don't
then
know.
brought in a new character afresh so that it's not this awkwardness because it just continues on with like this weird awkwardness and we're pretending like Paul Walker didn't die. I mean, it feels weird to me.
Look, Mona got me laughing in the chat, right? Especially with the super fans, it's not canon. It, look, we already we deal with we deal with it not being canon all the time, because you can tell the people who are running it, and I guess this leads us into the actual topic of the show, or the subject of the show rather, is that um, it's fine that it's not canon. We expect the producers. It depends,
That's a good one, Wesley.
right? Um, the canon is, we know it's going to change, right? Because the producers, executives, etc. There's a lot of things that you can include, and there's a lot of things that you just really don't want to include from the books as they make the transition to the film. Um,
Hmm.
we just don't like the corny shit of just replacing. I just think that there's a lot of smart people who could actually come up with great characters. You don't have to
Yeah,
replace old ones all the time.
that
Now this goes into the Bob Chapek, who is now like the head of Disney's for MCU for Disney, so to speak. He's at Bob Chapek is at Disney, but I think he oversees the MCU over Kevin Feige. I think he would be Kevin Feige's boss, right?
I think what it is Kevin is overseeing MCU, but
Correct.
MCU is under Disney.
Correct. So, Kevin Feige wants to do all this, I guess, quote, woke stuff, right? Make characters gay, and they got to have families and men to women, et cetera, et cetera. And the thing is, in the original medium that these things work in, which would be the comic books, they're not successful.
No,
So
they're
those
not doing
films
well.
are not successful. So,
Well, you saw that with the Immortals. Sorry to interrupt, but with the Immortals, because that felt so forced. It felt like you just tried to get every different ethnic group that you can find and force fit it into a movie and come up with something. And it didn't catch on because people like us, we're not just going to jump onto whatever brand new comic thing you make up, and also every celebrity because the comic thing is hot that they just want to jump in and oh, I want to be a superhero now. I mean that it doesn't work like that.
and also, if I can add, it's not even just movies or they're doing it. What they do with TV shows, even the TV shows where they have superheroes like The Flash. The Flash's daughter, who came back from the future, was just randomly gay, and it was just interjected to the story, just so out of place. Like they were trying to figure out how to get it back in time, but also save Barry's life. Where did that have to come up about her liking girls randomly? Like we're talking about superheroes.
it's it's all over. And going back to Wesley's comment about Black Panther, like they could have replaced Chadwick Boseman, and obviously, clearly, no disrespect to him, but I mean, people, for the fans of Spartacus, the show that used to come on Stars, their initial Spartacus character actor, he died. He had cancer. He passed away. They did a shortened season to get the new guy in. They proceeded with the new guy for like I think 2 or 3 more seasons. It was all good. They could have easily done that. Why they were holding on to this only Chadwick could be T'Challa, it doesn't make any sense, right? At some point,
Mhm.
if you're going to keep telling these stories, you're going to have to replace the actors. I mean, look how many different Batman there have been. There's
Yeah.
Even
there's been like
Spider-Man.
what, five? There's been three Spider-Man.
Yeah,
There's been
yeah.
three Superman, Clark Kents. I mean, you can do it. So it's just like, but I really wish they would just take the characters they have and expand on them. They don't really
Yeah.
have to do the replacement theology bullshit. Because as a
Hmm.
minority, they're trying to bring the politics into it with the color, with the change of their color, right? So you're
Yeah.
bringing the politics into it, and you're doing it on some Democratic Party type of shit.
Most
Hmm.
You
of
know what I'm
it
saying?
is.
Like you're not even keeping it real. So
Yeah. It feels so. It feels like just like what's going on in politics right now. Exactly. I mean, great point. Because
you
right now it's let's get the first Indian American, trans, senator, and then let's get the first, 5'2", one what amputee to the state house, and it's like that's not politics. We need actual real change. We don't just need change of complexions and change of how people look. And the same thing with these comics and stuff. For one, I would like that they take a lot more of the politics out of it. Like, I don't know if you all saw the new Captain America on the Disney platform. I'm a big fan of Falcon. I liked Falcon the way he was. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert, but in the end, Falcon becomes Captain America. So now you have a black Captain America, but they do dive into some of the racial stuff that comes with being Captain America, and it they were going in a good direction even while I'm watching it, and just because they wanted it to have Captain America be black, and like now patriotism, you can love America and be patriotic, and forget all the wounds of it just was so it was so not. I didn't it made me vomit in my mouth. I'll say that.
Yeah. Can I add another point too?
Hmm.
Another thing is when they speak of all this pro-black stuff, all this stuff, especially within the last year, why does it always have to be from a victim standpoint? Oh yeah, driving while black. Like these are things we've known from before I was even born. There's just more cameras now. So
Yeah.
now it's like, oh look, it's in your face. You see it, you're dealing with it. But this if everybody knew what was going on. This isn't nothing new. Just because there wasn't social media, people weren't informed. So don't sit there and act like, oh, I'm such a victim. I don't feel like a victim. I just feel like these are just the circumstances of what it is. So we just have to deal with it as such. I don't have to feel like piss poor or sad. I don't know, and especially I don't want that pity. So don't throw me a black actor because it's gonna make me feel better. That doesn't change anything that's going on outside. That makes you more money because then you just draw in my crowd because they're following the stupidity.
Hmm. Exactly. So I know you got something to add. What you got to add?
No, I mean I agree with his points. That's how it's supposed to be. Um, it's like I said, they don't do it right. Like if you're gonna do it right. If not, like leave it alone. They have that new Disney movie coming out. They're all Spanish, right? There you go, Mona. So yeah, I think they're doing like Santeria or whatever it is, to try to save
Mm.
the magic. But that's cool. I would. The thing is, you you don't. I don't want to see these. I don't want to see Captain. No one is going to be trying to kill Captain America because he's black, right? He's fighting, underground organizations, at times the outer space, threat. He's see, she knew what I was talking about, Coco.
Well, yeah. Sometimes they do it right. Sometimes they can do it right. Coco
Yeah,
was good.
it's just make the character fight who they're supposed to fight. Don't make it them trying to fight social issues as well as the world-ending threat. That shit is corny. Because honestly, if Thanos is snapping around, like who gives a fuck who's black or white at that point in time? Like look, half of us are gone. So
Hmm.
just stop with it. And you don't always have to treat people like they're so soft either. Like just do the shit. Captain America fighting the KKK. Yeah, I mean he fought the Nazis when he first started. I mean you guys already got
Yeah.
that off. Like there's bigger threats now. The world is totally different. You got people who want to destroy the planet.
Well, you know what they had him do in this one? They had him because I'm sorry, it's gonna be spoiler alerts all over the place on some of this stuff. And but what they did was they made him while he was Falcon, he's trying to appeal to this group of basically like empowered people who are trying to fight. It's basically the little people fighting against the people at the top, the elites. And what they did with it was they I felt they started to make them actually like evil, to make it like, okay, yeah, we're wrong, but see, but they're kind of even more wrong by the way they're doing stuff, to kind of muddy the water that we don't need actual some of the social change which they were fighting for, and that automatically if you gave people on the bottom who are fighting good intentions, that it's automatically going to turn into a negative fight. And so I just felt the way they did it was just it was just so bad. And then on top of that, you had
Wait,
you had
Marcus,
yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I know we're on the comic book and superhero topic, but would you say the same thing for sports media?
um I get
I,
well,
so
yeah, I mean
I'm asking,
technically you could say that
so I'm asking you
um
this. So did you ever hear about the Rachel Nichols, excuse me, and I was it Malika Andrews? I don't remember her name specifically. I have to check that to make sure my info is right. But as far as the story was, Rachel Nichols was recorded by a colleague on ESPN, basically saying they only gave the woman a job because she was black, and they're trying to push this Black Lives Matter agenda. ESPN, and ESPN is owned by who?
I don't know,
And
actually you have to let me know. I'm not sure.
they're owned
Disney.
by Disney. That's Disney.
Oh.
So, for to give you some more clarity, I used to play AAU. My dad remembers going to the ESPN World Classic tournament. It's in Disney,
Mm.
so they're all linked in from every angle. So the craziest part is she lost her job at ESPN. She lost her show, and everybody was mad at her for making racist comments. She didn't say she was a stupid like N word or just say some ignorant based on the color of her skin. She said the truth, and you don't have to be. You can be white, Indian, whatever you are. If you're speaking the truth, you're speaking the truth. Fact, we can't argue with the facts. And she did only get the job because of that. That just is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, but you got to remember we're in a whole different we're in a whole different culture now, because now what hurts your feelings, if the wrong person is offended, the whole world has to pay, kind of.
But the
That's
sad
how I see it.
the sad part is people at home are offended when it doesn't affect their lives. You're gonna wake up and still have the same problems you had the same day, or whoever the next person is. It doesn't affect you. So I don't under. I mean, it's so we can all comment on it. We all commented on social media, but I don't understand the people saying, "Oh, I'm so disappointed," or "I'm so let down. My idol crushed me." You don't know this person.
Yeah.
And I,
I
I think I think the internet and social media gets into these people's heads where it's like, oh, I really know this person. And not only that, most of these people they use good PR tactics. They are lying to the cameras. That's not who they are. You so to idolize and look at these people. Oh, I'm so offended. This hurt me so bad. My kid was watching. You don't owe me nothing. I don't feel that way.
You know, it's true. Look, and I'm trying to stay on topic because I go way left or right, either
Yeah,
which way
exactly.
on this particular topic. But the corporations mess up the art. The corporations are doing what they think is reading the tea leaves and taking the temperature of the populace, right? So they're like,
hmm
well, this online community is really Black Lives Matter, and this one is for LGBTQ rights. So we have to find a way to incorporate this stuff into our final product. Therefore, uh, everyone can
Included.
feel
Mhm.
included. But again, they don't do it right. That's the word I was looking for. They're
hmm
pandering, and
Yep.
they do it all kind of messed up ways. Um, so that's why I don't like to see it as it relates to these programs. If you're gonna do it properly. If not, don't do it at all. Just as Mona said, let us just escape and have fun for these 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then we'll deal with the real world afterwards. You're
Exactly.
hmm
giving us you're giving us this nonsense to pass it off. Like I want to see Batman fight the Joker. I
Yeah.
don't want to.
I don't
I don't
want to
want to
see
see
Batman
Batman
fighting black
like
on black
fighting the
crime.
banks to fix redlining because that shit don't happen. There's no
I
Batman
just
who
want to
don't.
see them get a good Justice League together and make it stick and established. And I would prefer to see that,
That
you
would be
know, than and like Mona's comment here says they care about Black Lives Matter unless they need to make a change. LOL. And I think that's some of that that's going into it. They feel like, well, I'm doing my part, and well, you're not actually doing your part. All you're doing is you're changing one person here or there in front of the screen. When where we really need the help is not necessarily having a new female superhero or a new black superhero or a new LGBTQ or whatever. How about behind the scenes? Why don't you promote some people? How about you start paying people a little bit differently? When you go into like the pay for Black Panther and you look at how little that they were paying the crew of Black Panther, it was peanuts compared to what they were paying most of the rest of the people in NCU. How about take care of that kind of stuff? How about more Ryan Cooglers? More black directors involved, and they don't necessarily have to direct a black project. You can let Ryan Coogler direct the next Hulk movie if you actually could fucking get it right. But you guys keep screwing that up. I still want them to finally get Hulk right and get a Hulk standalone movie. But
Yeah,
they for one, and I don't know if you guys remember the first one. And I'm not talking about the '70s one. I'm just talking about the first one, like back in 2000.
One
yeah,
Yes,
I
directed by
remember when I was a
They
kid.
should put
they
me to sleep.
they try to
And I
be
love,
too much story, and they turned it into too much of a drama,
yo,
and it
we
wasn't entertaining.
there's two words as it relates to the Hulk that matter. Hulk smash. That's
That,
it.
that's
There-
it.
Yeah,
There's really nothing more
even
to it.
as a kid, I remember watching it with my cousins. We watched all the superhero movies, but that one Hulk movie we didn't really watch.
Well, and here's a weird thing. I feel like you could take the first part of the Hulk with Edward Norton, and then you take the second half of the one with Eric Bana, and you put those together, and you got a damn good movie there because it got good at the end of that one, and they finished it off well. But it was just so
Even
slow and it dragged so much. But the Edward Norton, they did a good job like setting it up and all that. They just got all just retarded at the end. And I know people don't like that phrase, but I don't give a damn. But they just got so stupid at the end and how they did that and who Hulk was fighting another. It was just it was dumb.
look, I
Oh,
see Kelly's in the chat. What's up, Kelly? Idris Elba.
Oh,
Like I
Kelly
don't
snuck
see
in
why.
there.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, because he's a damn good actor, and you got a fictional character overall.
But
But the only
but
problem
here's
with
the
that is
thing.
they're already changing money pennies. So you got just way too much changing going on with the bond. You know.
Here's the thing, right? If you're gonna make him Bond, right? Let him have to deal with international criminals and stuff like that. People who are trying to transport live viruses, nuclear bombs, shit like that, trying to assassinate world leaders, etc. Don't make him Bond to be like, I have to attend a Black Lives Matter
Well,
rally.
well, how
Don't
about
do that.
this? I would rather do this. Remember that one? I think what was it? Golden Eye, where you actually saw Sean Bean. He played 006. It's showing you that there are actual other secret agents,
You
and
could do
it
one that's not
he
007.
doesn't have to be 007. He could be 001. You mean like you can make it like, you know what, 007, he got all the prestige, but he really wasn't even like the top one. 001 is like the new thing, and bring in Edris. Or I would like to see if you brought in like a couple of different versions of MI6 agents, and you could do so much with it. It doesn't have to be hinged on this one guy as if he's like a fucking superhero. I or just come with a whole new standalone different franchise. You see, there's obviously enough room for it because you had Ethan Hunt that they were able to do that with the IMF. Um, with Mission Impossible, and then you also had I don't know why they had to do Tom Cruise again, but with Jack Reacher, you're able to create new characters, and because the thing about it, the script is different every single time. So why can't you just change the name and just keep rocking with it?
Look,
I
she
mean,
said, she said, let's talk about the lack of ethnicity in Game of Thrones. Look, they did
mm.
them things. The way they set that thing it was super cold. We not up there. They
Well,
go.
well, the thing about it is
You talk about Snow Walkers? Is that what it was? I don't know because I
the White
watched the
Walkers.
show about White Walkers. That's what it was. I watched it, but I was not a fan of that show. I thought it was kind of
Well,
whack. And quite
well,
honestly,
what they
oh,
did, they
Marcus,
did. Uh
let me just say this. Look, I think a lot of people just watched it because they got a little weird fetish for watching the brother and the sister have to, do their thing. I didn't like that. That shit was nasty to me. But I know there's a lot of people it's like, ooh, when they gonna do it again? I don't want to see it, but I'm gonna watch.
Well, what they did though is they brought in and I think they got the message. So what they did was they start bringing in but actually if you think about it, when they got to Daenerys and the Dothrakis, the Dothrakis were a mix of black and brown people, but they had to portray them as savages. But I mean, I thought that was kind of fucked up. I mean, they did have them in there, but they portrayed them as savages. Or when it got to the Unsullied, they made them, fucking
Yeah,
ballless.
look, the Unsullied wasn't they the ones without a third leg? Like they were
Yeah, yeah. Kelly would have hated all of them.
Oh,
none of, none of them have it. So it was just like, so you're gonna make these savages who love to fight and all who live to fight and all this shit. And you tell me they can't release nothing? They can't
Nope.
like go kill 92 people and go relax with a drink
She
and a woman? Like
she would have did the You remember the Sandra Bullock? John Spartan. I want you to leave my domicile.
you, there was
Go,
actually,
go, go ahead, Jay.
we're talking about Demolition Man, Jayla, when he says that, because like they
yeah, I
couldn't
know.
do
I kind of,
anything.
just had to let that one
Yeah.
go over my head. You went to what you were saying. No, but
Oh no, I didn't mean to
No,
do that.
Marcus
I'm
Black,
sorry. That was an
Marcus Black
accident.
Kelly.
That was an accident. I was trying to click on her comment and I clicked too fast. I'm sorry, Kelly. My apologies. My apologies.
Marcus, you have an echo in the back.
No, that shit is funny.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess Kelly. Yeah, we gotta get Kelly's thoughts on that as soon as she come back.
Marcus Block Kelly. Boom.
Accidentally. It timed her out, not blocked.
You only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. Okay,
Yes,
you know what?
and we'll be counting down the moments. I'm so sorry about that.
I know. But honestly, I know, and he deleted the comment too. That shit was funny.
I don't know how it did that. I can't undo it either.
Yeah, she said no third leg, no.
I need to make somebody a moderator in here. Let me stop messing with stuff.
Variant could do it. She always in the chat.
I was just about to do that, but I was like, I don't want to jack it up.
Oh, that's my echo coming from me. My bad.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, I think Mona had a comment earlier. I think she said they only care about Black Lives Matter when they think they want to affect some change. I wanted to double down on that. I wanted to say they only care about Black Lives Matter when it's time to make some change. It has nothing to do with them trying to affect anything. They feed their own pockets.
Oh, what am I missing there? I saw something come. Mona said, "Don't try and make me a moderator."
So, I had a question for you guys.
Sure. Give it to our guests first.
Okay, perfect. So we spent the last 40 going over like comic books and things like that. But let's just talk about wokeness on another level. What do you think of, the woke Twitter crowd, or not even just leftist Twitter. That's just a community I could think of, or just all these people that want to be woke in all different areas, whether it be music, sports, or politics worldwide. Just what are your views on it? Even though I probably know some of them, but let's just share.
I mean, a lot of it is just people hiding anonymously behind an avatar. Um, they're just trying to say the right things that they think the majority of people want to hear. But I mean, they're trying too hard. It's just kind of like leave it alone. Just judge things as they happen for the circumstance. Judge the circumstances. Don't just take a blanket and throw it over every single instance. Even though we can point to a lot of events that happen and say, damn, these things all are very similar. But as much as you can say, well, yeah, a majority of things are similar, that still does not mean every single situation is to be treated the same way, just because it may appear to look that way on its face at first.
Damn, man, I'm
So,
waiting on this 5 minutes. I'm like, damn, this is a long ass 5 minutes. You know,
we
good
got two.
lord.
We got like 2 more minutes. I think it was at like the 43-minute mark. I hope she's still listening. But like
Yeah, I
Varian
hope
said, she's
so.
gonna come back with an arsenal of jokes.
Oh yeah, oh boy, it's going to get extra X-rated around here.
Oh, Marcus, another question for you. Uh, hmm, so what do you think of? I can't really answer this because I don't know how much you're paying attention because you're not a parent. So another question for our guest. So what do you think of all these, these woke young kids that are either following what they hear on TikTok or whatever they see on Instagram, or their parents? What do you think about the young guns that's coming up thinking, oh, I know this or that? What are your opinions on them too?
Okay, so real life story, and make of it what you will. My coworker and I were having a discussion about, Thanksgiving. Coworker says, they just wanted to have a family gathering, right? The only issue was that her teenage daughter, I think, is between 15 and 17 years old, wanted to invite her friend. My coworker was saying we just really wanted it to be the family, and she said her friend is really a girl who wants to be a boy, right? And her husband the girl's father has an issue with calling this girl a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with me, y'all. Now, in addition to bringing that friend, which is a girl who wants to be a boy, she wants to bring her friend who she likes, who is a boy who wants to be a girl. I'm bringing all of this confusion up because that is in a microcosm how this generation that seems to be their logic. Whatever I see on my phone, if I see enough of it, I can be influenced by that, and I'll change my thinking to fit along these lines because this is the peer group I want to be in at this particular moment. But they're just very weird, and they seem to lack real world experience. Their entire experience seems to come, unfortunately, from a monitor. It doesn't seem to oh, hey Kelly, you're back, you're good. um, but they don't have real world
Let her
interactions,
know
and
I'm
that's
sorry.
um, yeah, so it's not their ability to see the world, and they just think the world exists in whatever chat room or minor social circle that they belong to online. It's really sad when you watch it.
So, uh, Marcus, are you back? Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah,
Okay. So I was gonna we can have Marcus chime in when he gets back, so I can just take it from where I stand. I see exactly where you're coming from, and I'm in the age group. I don't see it as like I'm the know-it-all or I know everything. Like I'm still in the same position they are in. I just see it as a lot of kids I went to school with or just came up with. They just oh, I didn't even see the comment. Can you can you say the comment?
Oh, I'm
Kelly,
sorry.
Kelly, I'm stealing that comment. That shit is hilarious. She said,
Oh
"At first,
wow.
I didn't fall for
Oh
my
wow.
boyfriend. His third leg just tripped me." Yo, Kelly, you are funny. I'm stealing that. Like, yeah, I just tripped her.
Wow.
How'd you trip her? Aha.
But back to what I was saying, a lot of these kids, okay, if we're giving true stories. So I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and she has two other friends that she went to school with, and we're all in the car, we're chilling, and the kid's car is really messed up. I think like his brakes rotors, they have rust all over him. A piece is falling out. He has all these lights on, the engine in the car and everything. And he's like, "Oh, so I can just change the brake pads and I'll be fine." And I'm looking down and I'm like, "No." And it's an Infinity, so you're gonna have to spend. You might. I told him you might as well get in the car. And then he goes into, "Oh well, my mom when she bought it, this. So I'm bear with me." So we jump back, fast forward, we're in the car and we're all talking. And I don't know how. I don't know what it is with my life. I just always end up in deep conversation with people. It just happens that way. I don't know why. Maybe that was just my calling. But we started getting into like family issues. And sometimes people feel more comfortable with someone who knows them, really not going to judge. And if you are, you probably won't show it right then and there. So they started talking about, so I said, okay, let's go around the room. Mom, dad, whatever. So there was a guy there. He's gay. He mentioned his father left and they didn't really have a lot of money. The mom went through a lot of things. The Him and the brother used to argue. It just used to be a mess, but it was a beautiful mess. There was also her other friend who was a female, but she is a dyke lesbian, whatever you call it. And she had mommy issues. So I say that to say, not to downplay any of the issues going on in their childhood, not to say that won't mess anyone up. I can't go ahead and say that it won't. But the fact that it went so far to change your sexuality rather than you just being like, dang, I'm really sad, you know, that was just the only thing. Oh yeah, it's not working out, and their same stories are, and it's not just them. It's just kids I went to school with. Their same stories are. Oh well, it really wasn't working out with that sex, so I'm going to be gay, or I'm going to be lesbian. It seems like their first response to trauma is either, or just certain things, not even just trauma, just certain things that you can take to the chin, or just take it. You take your L and go home. Whereas they
It
got.
is. It is trauma, and that's the part of this discussion that really isn't touched upon.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of abuse that happens, and unfortunately, it's taboo to talk about because if we're being honest, a lot of the abuse is coming from the house. Whether it's a mother, it's a father, it's a brother, it's a cousin, a
Cousin.
grandparent, an uncle, aunt, cousin. It's coming from somewhere close, unfortunately. So that's so that when you talk about that, you also have to keep that in mind too.
Of
It's
course.
not only just like it's not like people just stubbing their toe and saying, "Well, I'm gonna change my sexuality." Like,
So
you know,
let me add on to that too. So since you brought up the trauma, let's also say that. So there's a lot of these kids who are going through these issues and the trauma that we did just speak about. But the first thing they're turning to is this. You don't have anybody who you can trust or go to. So, like you said, the trauma's coming from the house, and usually your leaders and role models, maybe your brother, your pops. I mean, we all have a celebrity or somebody we always liked, but the person you always end up being like, maybe you really looked up to your brother, your uncle, and if you don't have that, you're just gonna follow all the trends you see on the phone. So, like you said before, if you're already in the community, you're gonna fit everything within that guideline to be in that community. But another point I will add is also with the parents, even the ones who aren't putting their kids through trauma. You're also not watching your kids on these phones. You don't even have to be policing them. Oh, give me your phone every 5 seconds. But you also got to pay attention because kids' brains are sponges. If they're not being molded properly, they're going to pick up on certain things and be like, oh, well, that's that, this. But this is rotting your brain. This isn't the real world. So I also want to shed light on that as well as just the overall grand picture. But Marcus, share some of your thoughts on this.
Um, um, I mean, I guess you gotta. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. Just trying to. It kind of threw me off a little. I'm trying to figure out how to weave and fit that into MCU. I kind of took me on a
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I kind of went off a little bit. I was on a little tangent. My bad.
yeah. I mean, now, how I do. I guess what I'll say is I feel that with some of this stuff which is going on, and with when we talk about these characters and the whole LGBTQ, stuff which we're seeing a lot more in entertainment and in comic books and all that, it's playing to some of these traumas that are going on. And so people react in these different ways. Because even if you look into that recent movie, and I guess another spoiler, Halle Berry's latest movie, Bruised. She has an abusive boyfriend. She ends up having a homosexual encounter, and then for a moment she's kind of in that, and then just kind of okay, I'm good with you now. And it kind of gets shoehorned in there, and then kind of tossed aside. And her character was going through traumas and things like that, and then she went down that pathway briefly. But I feel like because so many people are going into some of these different categories, and going through some of these things, and they're moving up into some of these positions,
Mhm.
creating content and creating comic books and becoming executives and things like that. It's getting shoehorned a lot more into more media, whether it's in comic books, whether it's in movies, whether it's TV, whatever. A lot of this stuff is getting added in. Whereas you look at the actual population of these said communities, and they're very, very minute. But if you look at through pop culture and comic books and all that, the representation is at least like 40 to 50% in like most of these movies. It's when it's really like about like what 1% in actual real society. So it gets a little confusing, to me how some of this stuff gets shoehorned in a lot of these different things.
Before we get into anything, I do want to say this: what you guys said earlier when you mentioned the drama. Sometimes that gets a little overlooked, gets a little overlooked by me by myself because, like you said, the other things take away from the trauma. So sometimes I'm looking and they'll just take away from the actual situation. And Chris, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
bro. Hell no. We not playing that game. We not no, not today, no way.
Hmm.
Oh Lord. But I was saying sometimes I do get blindsided. I could rock the fro better than he can though. No hate though.
He's like this kid. Like it's kind of funny, Jalen. You probably should have told that. You probably should have put that in the regular chat. I do spoil all the movies. That's what I do.
Yes,
I am a spoiler.
he is.
You might as well just put an expired date on my forehead because I spoil.
But like like I was saying that sometimes by me personally I can honestly admit sometimes I'm wrong and that I overlook certain things because if something happens on social media, well, I couldn't say on social media, but Marcus, the movie spoiler. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. But so say a situation happens and the media will drag it out and turn it into this whole thing and it'll go whole left. So sometimes myself, I get so swept up in the BS that they try to make it into to create a headline or a story or to get some quick cash. Sometimes even myself, I overlook the trauma because I'm looking at it from, oh, well, they dragging it. So it's no, 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 no. No, no.
Kelly's like that Michael Jackson song. Got to be starting something.
Gonna
You
be,
know.
see, but my father always said they're dangerous.
Hmm. Yep. Watch out, boy. She'll chew
But
you up.
I did want to admit that though. Sometimes I do myself overlook because I get swept up in the, oh well, I know how they're dragging it, but also not paying attention to the fact that there is
There
real
you
trauma
go.
going on. So I can admit that it's a double-edged sword too. As much as we can complain about them dragging, we also gotta point out it's a sensitive topic, but we also got to point out that the trauma isn't causing them to act a certain way. So I can admit I was wrong.
So, keeping and admitting that you're wrong, going back to our topic, Kevin Feige is going to have to admit that he's wrong with the direction that he's taking the MCU, because this is not going to be a success. Because what's happening on sites such as Rotten Tomatoes is you have the
Hmm. Was it
you have the
Shang-Chi?
professional you have the professional movie critics who are going into movies like Star Wars and the rest of them saying, "Oh, these are great movies. Oh my God, the direction." When they talk to the viewers' reviews are quite different from the professionals, and it's the gap between what the professional's saying versus what the average user is saying is very large, and
Yeah.
there's more users than the
So,
professionals. So what's happening is these movies are getting crushed despite what their income is, because
so wait, so
sometimes movies can
Lawson,
make a lot of movie and it doesn't make it successful.
can I ask you this question? So when you go to maybe buy a video game or watch a movie or something, do you check those reviews or do you go on Twitter or just to people that you know are average fans to get the reviews?
Oh, sorry. I wanted to put that up. I enjoyed that comment. But go on ahead, Jalen.
No, I was asking our guest when you go to look up for reviews, and I can ask you this as well, Marcus. Do you guys just peek at the Rotten Tomatoes, the big name sites, just to see the BS they may see put out about a bad movie or maybe a good movie, or do you go to maybe people you know or Twitter in certain communities to see what's really going on?
Here I'll answer right after I answer this one. Yeah, just look up Young Morpheus on Discord, and you should be able to find me. If not, if you come to my Twitter, I'll send you an invite. And that way I can bring you in. Kelly's already over there. Variant's over there. Chris pops in occasionally. I need to get Jalen in there too. But Mona, she's over there on Discord too. So, in fact, yeah, Mona or Kelly, if you can drop the link in Discord, and that way anybody who wants to get on, especially Mad Marxist, can hop on the Discord. In my Discord, I got all three of the channels. I got a part in there where I put music songs that I like, and then everybody adds in music that they like, and you can jam to some of the tunes that some of us, some of our hosts like, some of the friends of the show like also. But back to your comment, I'm one of those people where I kind of look at or your question, I kind of look at previews for the most part. I've always been the type where if a preview catches my attention and the synopsis, catches my attention, then it gives me a lot of that weighs my decision on wanting to check it out because
Mhm.
most of the time I've been pretty good at sizing movies up by the previews. For those who don't know, uh, once upon a time, I was going to actually go to film school. In Florida, actually down by where Jalen is. I was going to go to Full Sail back before it was as astronomically expensive as it is now. Um, but I got talked out of that, and I ended up going, working on business administration, and then eventually secondary education. Majoring in history, minoring in political science. But in those days, I used to do a lot of writing, and I've probably written, a couple of different, unedited kind of rough forms of storylines and scripts. Well, not really scripts, but just kind of like storylines that I wanted to create into, feature length films and stuff like that. So I can kind of tell if the story, a synopsis, kind of has the potential for some twists and turns and some kind of interesting things. And a lot of times you could tell by different previews if an actor delivers certain lines a certain way that it might be interesting or not. Like I'll give you a perfect example. That T'Challa, when she's like, whatever you do, don't freeze, and he turns around and he's like, I never freeze, you know. And so the way he delivered that line, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be interesting. And then it jumped straight into some action, and then you got a bomb soundtrack, which you catch all of that in like that little 30-second clip. I know that there's going to be a lot that's gonna, and then you look at the assembly of cast a lot of times, and that's gonna tell you some things also. If you're familiar with directors, I'm not gonna say it always works because there's some Guy Ritchie movies which I enjoy from his past work, and then Guy Ritchie's has done dropped some duds also. But like Ryan Coogler, what is it, Fruitvale Station? His work on that, I was like, oh, they got this dude. This might be something to check out. So looking at all of those things is normally what guides me. Um, because a lot of times when I really like the movie, I'm going to see it before the critics anyway. And then back in the day, Siskel and Ebert, those guys were just fucking horrible a lot of times. How they would rate movies, they would. I feel like they are the type of guys who like films. And I don't know if you know the difference, there's a difference between films and there's a difference between movies. And they want to see films. Like they rather see Charlie Chaplin, a silent film, and all the facial expressions and crying, some shit like that, or go watch Rent and have the heartbreak and the drama. And some people are big on drama and that's their thing. And those guys, they always back in the day always shitted on anything that had anything to do with action. And action was like more my wheelhouse. And so I early stopped listening to the critics, and I would always take more of the Rotten Tomato approach of what the viewers, because say for instance, like X-Men, for instance, when X-Men first came out, it was something that was going to be mostly only comic book heads were going to be interested in that. And so I knew if people who really like that kind of stuff did not like it, then they screwed up somewhere. But if those types of fans of the comics went out and they supported and they really digged it, then I know that they probably did a good job despite what the critics said. Because most critics don't follow that kind of stuff, period. So they rather be into the next Meryl Streep film than worry about, what Vin Diesel's last movie was. So I mean, that makes a difference. So sorry for the long-winded, I guess, answer.
So, can we direct this question right for our guest too?
Yeah, sure.
Since you took it the movie route, I want to ask you this question. So, since we're talking about reviews and things of that nature, what were your thoughts on the source ratings back then?
Good idea.
Well, I mean, to stay on topic, going back to I'll answer the question in 2 seconds, Jay.
Gotcha.
Kelly's question was, Kelly's comment that she posted. Let me see if I could find it. I'm not logged in under you, Marcus, so I can't.
Is that one?
I can't post it. No,
Oh
no, no.
no,
I said
sorry.
I can
she
check
had
the
said.
comment.
She said places like Rotten Tomatoes make Wonder Woman 1984 sound good when it was a corporate
Mhm.
circle jerk. I
Oh,
didn't watch
oh,
that
oh
movie.
man.
I purposely didn't watch that movie because I thought it was going to be trash, and every single person who I know likes it, who saw it, said it was trash. Um, that's precisely why, and that's what I mean. Where the art just totally the business destroys the art. Instead of helping it, it ends up destroying it and makes it this thing that nobody wants. And I don't know why they continue to do it. I guess because it makes money at the end of the day. But
Well,
you
since
know,
you didn't see it, I'll throw this in real quick. Complete Zionist propaganda. I'll say that. Complete Zionist propaganda.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He already know.
They literally made it like basically like I see I was about to spoil it. I'm gonna try not to spoil this one too much, but
you can spoil it. I don't care. Like
Okay.
the only movie that I don't want spoilers on is Matrix, which I'm
okay.
waiting is in a few
Okay.
weeks, and that's the only thing I don't want to hear nothing about.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about. But they basically made it as if okay, if a Middle Eastern country, which they kind of leave vague, gets the power to be able to do whatever they want, and then they make them be like the ultimate terrorists. And then she like convinces them that maybe you guys should rethink your ways and you shouldn't be that way. And it's like it was just so flagrant to me because there we go. Like Kelly stole the words right out of my mouth. Well, Gal is Israeli, just saying, and she is former IDF. So it really felt like they were doing a, even if the Palestinians got their way, they would realize the error of their ways and how we're trying to really help them. It was so condescending. It was, oh, I mean, I don't think I've watched a movie in a while that I've been more disgusted at.
Mm.
And I guess that stays right in the wheelhouse because that is a comic.
Okay, so comic. That. So would you say that you hated the movies coming up in your time because you guys grew up as comic book readers? So how does that make you guys feel as seeing as the quality of a lot of these films are going down and down and down? I mean, I know there's a few
It's mixed because it's really mixed because they started off like shitty. Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just getting to like maybe some of the X-Men stuff, how that was going on. I'm pretty sure Chris remembers back to like the original Captain America. I don't know if you remember that one in like the late 80s or early. It was so bad. It was really bad. I mean,
Even when I go back and watch like the Christopher Reeves Superman, I'm like, ugh, this is horrible.
yeah,
The only one that they got really good was the first Batman. Maybe
yeah.
the first two with Michael Keaton.
I like the second one with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The first two were okay, but then once they started going Val Kilmer and George Clooney, it was trash up until my man Christian Bale came back.
Yeah. And you know what disappointed me so much about Batman is like Ben Affleck is like the perfect build and look of Batman, of Bruce Wayne, but he did such a bad job. It's just he should have been so much better than he was. And Christian Bale did a good job of Batman, but I felt kind of was a little weird as Bruce Wayne. He was very awkward as Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne was like he was like almost bipolar. He was able to go and laugh it up and have fun, and then turn back into Batman, and like they were two different people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Christian Bale Batman, nobody could tell me nothing bad about him. That's my dog. Like, all right, Mona,
Oh,
that's my That's my dog. Even though people complain about his voice and how he switched it up, I still mess with Christian Bale. To Kelly's Superman movies, Man of Steel was the best one, and that's a perfect example of how these comic books just fuck up. Man of
Hmm.
Steel was like a dope ass Superman movie, and instead of continuing that, they made that corny ass Batman versus Superman movie, which was so corny, like so whack.
I
You know what
mean,
I noticed? Uh,
yeah, it went all over the place. I mean, it seemed like they did a lot of like time filling to get down to just that final scene and everything, and it was put together clumsy. I mean, it could have worked better, but it was just clumsy the way they did it, in my opinion.
you know what else, Marcus? I noticed. I like the animation iterations sometimes better because they stick to what you actually want to see. So many
Hmm.
times my dad will put on a Batman movie they'll do for that animated series and it's but action, it's fighting, it's not going into who's this or we got to take a political stance. It's more action. I see Batman and all these superheroes in the animation excuse me in the animations beating more people up than they do in the movies. Maybe you get like one dope scene where someone's flipping through the air, knocking someone out. But in animation, you're just fighting for most of the movie, and that's really what we want to see.
You see that?
Need some.
The Neesums. Oh yeah, I know Kelly. Kelly watched some Key and Peele. Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
What do you think about the animation iterations of some of
the
these?
animation stuff was like outstanding, and I mean, a lot of that stuff still goes pretty hard now. I mean,
I think
They
so.
should really just take some of the animated programs they have and basically turn them into the movies. I mean, it would
hmm
be better. You can even keep most of the dialogue as well. You only have to change some of it. I mean, again, you know what the problem is too? They're so greedy in that they want to make these movies universally acceptable to people who aren't fans. Who, but you look, just even they brought up Game of
Chris,
Thrones
call out the
earlier.
elephant in the room.
I ain't
You,
saying nothing on. Look, this is a family. This is a family network.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. They wanted to get that China money. Let's be honest. They start making the scripts easier and easier to be able to convert over. That's the reason why they came out with that Shang-Chi, which was garbage. It was horrible. I didn't even watch it. The
What
little bit that I
movie?
saw of it.
Can you repeat that?
What was it? Was Shang-Chi? Or whatever. I guess pull it up, see if you can find it. That movie bombed so bad at the box office.
What's the name of it?
I watched it's Shang Chi, the Ten Rings movie. I actually just
Oh,
watched that yesterday. Um, I saw it and it was just like, damn. See, Spade really got me to it. I was trying to avoid this. No, we didn't. I was trying to avoid it, Spade. I don't know who you
well, I
are,
guess we
but
got to do it.
yeah, Kelly, I see you.
I'll be honest. I didn't even watch the Eternals. It just looked like hot garbage to me.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, so look,
It
let me
just looked like hot garbage. I just didn't even want to do it.
Yeah.
look, let me do the breakdown, right?
Okay.
I'll spoiler alert out the
It spoiled the hell out of it because I don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah.
Funk Flex hitting the button on them. Anyway, so I saw the Eternals, right? And it's about these people who are created by their gods. They're basically um uh they're super advanced artificial intelligence. They can't die, the Eternals, right? And they're sent to different planets to do their god's bidding to make sure make sure that population continues to grow so that it can feed the god that's inside the planet. And when the god is ready to be born, he comes out of the planet. Everyone's supposed to die, right? Whatever, boom, boom.
Mhm.
So all of these Eternals have special powers. One is like Professor X. One is like Superman. One is like Wonder Woman. You know, uh, Angelina Jolie is like Wonder Woman. Correct. Yeah, Angelina Jolie in the movie is like Wonder Woman, but even more savage. Now, the black guy, right? He is the weapons maker. He designed the weapons that were used in all of the wars throughout history, right? Including the atomic bomb they used in World War II. Now, he he's a weapons maker. He's concerned with humanity, etc., etc. And then all of the Eternals go their own ways, right? Then they get together when there's a problem. So what was the Black Eternal doing? He decided to become gay and adopt a son. And yeah,
Why I got to be the black dude?
that hey, Varian to tell you that was my comment. Why it had to be him? Like out of all the guys?
Wasn't it only like one black one?
Correct.
Wait, another question. So when they did him doing that move, did it fit into the story or was it just unnecessarily added?
Well, what they did, remember, these people have been on planet Earth from the inception of the planet, right?
Okay.
So at some point during slavery, like I can't remember if it was they were in South America somewhere. Oh, that's right. The Spanish had just touched ground in South America, and they were thinking about helping the native people in South America fight off the Spaniards. But they were like, "Yo, we're not here for that." So they kind of had an argument. They went their own ways for centuries. So some of them
And so
had
now,
seen each other.
so he's a coon too.
So yeah,
And then he makes the nuclear bomb that kills. Hey, man, I can't watch this movie. I can't. I'm gonna have to make a whole breakdown on why this.
You're gonna end up
I'm,
breaking the TV. Man. Okay, so can I? Since we
hold on, JJ, hold on.
I got you.
So to piss Marcus off, like he's the Eternal who can create literally any tool. Remember Forge from X-Men? Marcus? Remember Forge could create anything and everything. So this was that black dude. He was able to create anything. And correct. So they went extra woke, not only to make him gay, but now he has a son. And they're like, yo, the planet's gonna blow up. And he's like, I'm not leaving my husband and my child. And it's just like, damn, dog, like you're gonna outlive the both of them. So this attachment is really dumb. Because they can't die, the Eternals.
Exactly.
So it was just Marcus. If you watch it, you should watch it just to do the breakdown of the character, and it was just horrible.
If anything, really, next episode, Marcus, we can watch it, and then we can talk about it.
Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Nope. Because see, for one, I already know I'm gonna piss off a lot of people. I'm gonna piss off a lot of people doing that. For those and the people who follow my channel, they know that I live and breathe by the Bible. So just even percentage wise, if you look at the LGBTQ community, the percentage that are black is far smaller. Like literally, it blew my mind when I looked up. Like in the LGBTQ community, it's something like 75% are white, and then you're gonna make the black dude the gay guy, and you're gonna make him the guy who he didn't have the balls to fucking step up and stop slavery. And then you're gonna make him the guy who's responsible for atomic weapons. I mean, come the fuck on. Really?
Look, Marcus, I told Variant, I said, yo, when Marcus sees this movie, or he gonna end up going off. Like you see her coming right there.
And that's just a synopsis.
But
I can't imagine if I saw the whole movie how much extra shit I would see that would probably piss me off even more.
You know what's funny? If they were going for the woke vibe, they would have had him stop slavery or maybe like aid Harriet Tubman on the Underground Railroad, but nah, they chose to just have him be a
Yeah,
gay.
yeah, they couldn't have him do anything. They couldn't have him do shit. Nigga's just there for no fucking reason. He just there to push, push
Hold on.
homosexual. Only thing he, I guess, apparently did was he pushed wokeness on homosexuality and
Look,
about gay adoption.
the other part that was annoying was that so they were all living their lives when they finally start reconnecting and they find him. He's the only one who's like, no, I'm not. No, I can't. I have a family. Like the rest of them are like, yo, dog, they're gonna destroy the whole planet, right? And he's the only one who is reluctant because of his lifestyle. The other one just wanted to be hidden, live off in his commune with people he could control with his mind. The black dude was the only one that was like, no, I can't. I made bad weapons. And it's like, we need a weapon.
Now I'm curious. Now you said the one that wanted to live in the communes. What I mean, since they're playing the whole complete wokeness, what did they make him like? What like Karl Marx, like a Jewish commune person now? I'm just
Well,
curious.
well, here's the thing. He could control everyone's mind. So he just made like a utopia. Everybody was like growing grass, like, growing crops and living life peacefully, living off the land and etc.
When if you
That's
look
what.
at this fucking world, if anybody's gonna be the person who builds the fucking weapons, it would be the white guy. Of anybody, let's be fucking honest here. But yeah, you're gonna make it the people who've been the most oppressed. Yeah, we're gonna put the bad shit on. We're gonna put the weapons on him. And then, in fact, he has weapons, but he doesn't even have the backbone and spine to defend his own fucking people.
But again, you could tell really who has the influence in what gets put in these movies, right? Because they particularly made a scene where he had to stop and consider what he was doing as the mushroom clouds were going off in Japan and Nagasaki. But that's not to get you to think about Japan and Nagasaki. That's to get you to think about World War II. Yeah, the movie's pretty bad, Kelly. It's really not worth seeing. And Spade, I said the same thing. I'm like, damn, this is Paperboy from Atlanta. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Atlanta, the show, but that's Paperboy. Like, he's the rapper, and so it's a totally different thing for him. So, as for him career wise, this will be a good move because then now people will be like, oh,
I know whoever
yeah,
the white female was, she was probably flawless.
yes. Well, they made Selma Hayek. She was kind of like the head of the group. And in the books, from what my homeboy was telling me, I didn't know this because I didn't read Eternals. I didn't know anything about them, honestly. Until I was with my homeboy the other night. He was breaking it down for me. The character that Selma Hayek played was kind of like the top of the Eternals, right? She's a Hispanic woman. It was a white man who operated that role in the books. So that was one case in which they swapped out, the original book character for the went after Woke, and she ended up.
I'm curious. What was the black man gay in the comics too?
No, my homeboy said no, he wasn't.
So they
There was
completely just swapped everybody around.
yeah, even the character that was supposed to represent like the Flash, the really fast one, she ended up being a deaf Middle Eastern girl.
Wait a minute, hold on. Deaf superheroes now?
Yeah, who's like the Flash, so they had to like sign to her the whole time.
I'm trying to process this shit, man. This is what?
I don't know, bro. I can't. I mean, I do know.
I just found some information on the scriptwriters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
2 of them are brothers, and guess what city they're born and raised in?
Los Angeles. Oh, no. Jerusalem.
No, San Francisco. And wait, let me finish. And then
Well, is this the script writers from the comic or is this from the movie?
the Eternals. So we're just talking about the Eternals. So because the way he was describing the movie, I was interested. Okay, who wrote it? So Two of them, they're brothers. They're born and raised in San Francisco, and another script writer.
Jayla, can you put that on the screen? I want to see these. I want to see what these people look like.
Okay, you're gonna have the same reaction I did. I'm gonna do the share
I
screen.
want to see what, because I guarantee you they look like some fucking Nancy Pelosi liberals.
One of them got like the Hitler mustache. But one thing also I want to note is the another screenwriter. He has an article in the New York Times called "Precocious Puberty Case," where he was saying that he was a 4-year-old trapped in a 15-year-old's body, saying talking about how he was growing genital hair and just all these different things. That's just. But I'm gonna just let everybody
So
see
now we're letting now we're letting people who probably need to be sitting on a couch for therapy, right? They're being the head of these movies now. So yeah, I guess go. Yeah, although I need to hold on. I guess shit, wrong button. Or is that the right button? Oh shit, there it is. Oh shit, sorry.
Okay, now we can see. Okay, so this is Patrick Burley. This is one of the script writers, but the script writers I was speaking about specifically. This is him. Well,
Kaz Firpo.
right here.
His name is Kaz Firpo from San Francisco. He's one of the writers. Him and Ryan Firpo, they're one of the writers or screenwriters from the Eternals.
Here, so Marcus can get a clear picture of it.
You know what? I want to. You know what? Let's do the Wikipedia on these guys. I want to see their early life. I want to see this upbringing.
But you know, this is going to happen as we go on. I mean, the younger generation, as Mona alluded to earlier, they're more open to this kind of stuff than we are. So they would make, we would appear backwards to them, even for having this conversation. But as Variant and Kelly both just alluded to in the comments.
Wait, but sorry to interrupt you. So, for early life, it says Firpo was born and raised in San Fran, the youngest sons of artist Claudia and Patrick Firpo, and a brother of creator director Danny Firpo. Okay, so he worked as a commercial director and photographer for Tinder. His directorial debut was Refugee, documenting various stories from the Syrian refugee crisis. He has a. I find it interesting.
Scroll down some more. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already know Hollywood is going to find the least masculine men to write these stories. They're never going to find a masculine man to write these stories. The masculine man has to bring the story to them and then hope that they will, hope that they put some life into it. They're never going to have Marcus write a movie. They're never even going to have Kelly write a movie.
This is just an interesting name. I'm just wondering, should I go there?
And you just mentioned.
You know what? I'm gonna go there. What is his nationality?
Firpo?
Yeah, because that was that Ukrainian or something. What is that?
He looks mixed. What's his name? Kaz Firpo?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull up his mom. They're Japanese American. And actually, the fourth scriptwriter is, I think, her name is Chloe Zhao.
So you could see. I think the fear of a lead of black man. Yes.
Can you guys? Correct. Can you? Okay, here he is. I have a picture with him and his mother.
Yeah, so they're Japanese.
Here we go. Here you go, Marcus.
Now, considering Marcus, I don't know if you've watched anime, but considering some of the anime is way
Yeah,
out
I know. I know.
it's not incredibly weird for a person of Japanese descent to, you know, do that. You know.
But they also have some.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
And I was gonna say when you do the screen share too, you could share the tab too. I mean, I know you're sharing the monitor, but you can
oh,
share
you
the
can.
specific tabs as well. Yeah, so we don't see ourselves like 100 times like the Matrix.
Yeah, so
We in the room in Matrix 2, Marcus.
I mean, only a matter of time.
Here
Mm-hmm.
we go.
So Jalen, let's
So
ask
like,
you. You're the youngest one on the panel, right? We're an hour and a half in. I don't want to go too long. I got to get up for work.
Yeah,
But
same
the
here.
last thing, how many of your friends, not even friends, how many people do you think in your age group will be willing to join the metaverse when it becomes available to the extent that like a PlayStation 4 is available or an Xbox?
so let me tell you this. I got a lot of friends that like to do investing, and I put in a little here and there, mess around, try to make some money with them. And a lot of my friends are big on crypto. So I see a lot of friends, maybe who aren't even the richest, just investing in crypto because that's the biggest thing now. So I personally feel like our global economy now, as we know it, is
Oh,
inevitable.
Chris, echoing.
My bad.
So I
All right,
feel
go ahead.
so I feel like the global economy as we know it is going to be done with. That's how I personally feel. So as we're coming into our own, finishing college, doing different things like that, we're already investing in crypto. So now all your money is going to be tied into this new form of currency. So I think we'll see a lot of them join on, not even just when it's available, because now finances are tied and we're getting older. We want to start getting apartments, cars. And if you are smart and trying to invest your money and it is in crypto, when I think the economy does crash, well, Kelly says, believe,
Don't read that. Don't read that. I put that up for Chris.
so that's on one hand how I feel as far as us we're gonna pull majority of them in, but then I already see it now. So many kids just on TikTok, Snapchat, just watching other people. Like even my girl, I tell her sometimes, I'm like, you don't get tired of watching the same TikToks. All these trends and things you guys are singing, they're all so old. And TikTok I hold a special place of hatred for it because I've seen Vine and Dub Smash like 8 years ago. I didn't do dub smashes then. All the girls that used to do the vines and dub smashes, I never did them. I was like, you could talk to me after the video. I ain't doing this, and I'm not doing a TikTok now. So when
What's a dub smash?
so you know how they'll take the sounds in TikTok? It'll be a song, and then they have the TikTok on it.
Mm.
So dub smash, you should just be the audio version. You could take it would record. So you would hold it up to your face, you would play the audio, and you would basically talk back to what it was saying. So say it was like a line in a movie. What's a famous line in the movie?
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, so that would be the thing, and you're mouthing it. So now it's like you're coming to life. But we saw that years ago. So this is not anything new. And I'm like, you guys are acting like this is something crazy. Y'all saw this 8 years ago. And I also hate revisionist history, at least for my time period. They make 2010 Shade Room, yep. They also make 2010 seem like it was so long ago. It was only 10 years ago. So it'll be like,
It feels like it was long ago. Shit.
only because so much has changed in that short time span. But you guys both know that was on. Look, I was only 8 years old. I'm on 11 years have passed. So yeah, a lot of time has passed, but at the same time, it hasn't. So for us, I'm just like, you guys have seen this already. How are you getting sucked back into something you already did years ago when you were younger? So you would think you were smart enough and say, oh, but
Hey, I was only 19 then.
Me too. We with the Me Too movement. Me too. Look, you know what, Marcus? Though I asked him if he thought his friends were going to be in it, right? And he or his peer group, his generation, for other reasons other than just being in the metaverse, that they'll get into it. Here's the the shocker for people who may not realize it. Marcus, do you know how many people from our generation are going to be into that shit? You know how many people are going to be sitting around gaining 50 pounds or losing 50 pounds just from having that shit on their face and
That's
stuffing
what
their
Wally
face?
is about.
Your generation loves their phone too. So many, I have so many friends, moms that will sit there on Instagram, shade room, all these things, talking about all these women looking at this and that. They gonna see they
And
can
I'm
get a.
guilty of it too. I'm on my phone a whole lot for different reasons though, but
But
you
that's
know,
what I'm saying. But they're spending a majority of their time looking at nonsense. I bet you a lot of women between 30 and maybe 43, if they can get a butt job in the metaverse, they might go ahead and do it.
Well, they can do it in the metaverse. In the metaverse, you literally can be whoever the hell you want to be. I
That's what
mean,
I'm.
if you want your profile to be like you were talking about, one of these dudes having like what he thought he's a 4 year old, and I don't know that's fucking mental illness. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna pretend anymore on shit that's
Or
that
what you
fucking
said,
obvious.
I was a 4-year-old in a 15-year-old's body. That's
Yeah, that's mental illness. That's all
there's
that
going
is.
there's going to be a lot of people from our generation, Marcus, who are like 40, 38, even probably some in this stage, like 50-year-olds, who are going to be rushing home from work to go put on a headset. They probably won't even wash their hands. They probably won't take a shower. They
not
probably
even
won't even
eat.
order any food. They're most likely going to be sucked into this thing when it becomes um, as available as the PlayStation or the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Or the what's the Nintendo one? The Switch.
Yeah, but I remember just a few years ago, you had the VR, and it had the scary game, and we play it, and it would be like, yeah, oh shoot, this is kind of creepy. But I showed Marcus a clip of a modded video game and how real it looked. And I was saying, we were speaking with the metaverse, it's going to be so real that people are going to even forget that they're a breathing specimen on a couch.
Well, I mean, I think what's going to happen eventually, and the reason why I definitely could see people, me and Chris's age and older getting really sucked into this, because what happens when your job says, you know what, because of COVID protocols, we're going to start working from home. And so just tune in to work from the metaverse, and we'll come to the meta, what is it, boardroom.
Yeah.
And, we'll do all our presentations at the meta boardroom. And then, you can have your time for meta break. And then you'll leave that. And then you'll leave your avatar in the break room while you're walking around in the house, probably getting your actual snacks to sustain your body until they figure that shit out. Because well, I'll show you two later on some of the stuff that I've been researching. I don't know why it's been on me, why the spirit's been on me to look into a lot of this. Well, I know why. My I went on with on Franco's show, and I was on with Kamali and Yelbro and Dontel from Apologetic. And I'm going to put this out there to some of the people who were in that chat, because I go back and I look at every comment that everybody says, because I try to analyze, okay, well, what did I say? How did was I interjecting my personal feelings too much? Was I being objective? Was I looking at this thing in every kind of way? And somebody kept saying, well, Marcus is advocating for nihilism. I don't advocate for anything. You be whatever the fuck you want to be. That's the first and foremost thing. You believe whatever you want to. What I do is I look at what data suggests. And if I walk into a room and I'm unarmed and there's 10 people with guns, I don't think that, you know what? I can take the gun from this guy and then kill everybody and I'm going to get out of there. I'm not delusional. And some of these people have it in their heads that and I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm really not trying to throw shade, and I hope if if the brother sees this, he doesn't take it this way. They're talking about armed revolutions and things like that, and I'm like, I, I am an actual. I worked in a combat rating in the military. I worked with special operators. I've gotten to see a lot of this stuff up close and personal. My job just basically, I deal with everything from from 9 millimeters up to Tomahawk cruise missiles. I was a tech on 50 cals, on 76s, on 25 millimeter as an operator and a tech. I taught security and weapons training, anti-terrorism, all kind of things like that. When I'm telling you that the military has shit that you cannot fight, I'm not just being I'm just being a negative person. I'm telling you because I know. And what's going on right now is the at this point in time they still care about optics. And the moment they don't care about optics and you decide that you want to go out there actually and really arm up and play G.I. Joe with the US government, you're going to find out what the fuck they really got. And this whole, thinking you're the Wolverines from Red Dawn, or the newer iteration Black Dawn, you're going to find out real fucking quick that that's not how it's going to work in this real reality. I mean, do you guys not know that not too long ago we did a story about police dogs that you guys saw the Boston Dynamics dog, which literally has a gun mounted to its back that can shoot almost a mile accurately. How do you stop that?
It's Marcus. It's the same thing. Even when the protests were going on last year, when people just wanted to just run into the police, they got weapons and they will not be penalized for murdering you.
Oh,
Like I
I'm doing a video on it right now because it aggravated me so much. I'm doing a video on it right now. I'm editing and I'm showing all the new next level like technology,
so
weapons wise. Some of the stuff that's already out, some of the stuff that's coming. So I can put this video out and then I want to have some of these revolutionary mindset who think that they can just go and fight everything and fight this and fight that. And I want them to explain how the fuck are you going to beat this? I mean, when they literally have weapons like I don't know if you guys have seen the new the taser gun. I'll talk about non-lethal weapons for a moment. Jalen, can you bring up the what is it called? Shit. It's basically like 180-degree taser where
oh,
it has
do
rows
you
and
have
rows
the
and
name of it,
rows.
Marcus?
Huh?
Do you have the name of the taser?
I'm drawing a blank right now, but look up crowd control uh crowd control taser. I want to say it's 120-degree crowd control taser.
Hey Marcus, have you seen the Lawson too? Have you guys seen the video of this guy who's in like random situations and he's trying to show you how to unarm when they got a gun to your head? Okay, that's who's gonna come save these revolutionary mindsets. They're gonna go up to missiles and they're gonna think it's the Avatar and they're gonna airbend the bullets away from us.
I'm trying to tell them. I mean, I'm like just one thing I can throw out there right off the bat. Do you guys know that they have you remember how they had laser guided missiles where okay you paint the target, and when I mean paint the target, you're not literally with a paintbrush painting the target. You are putting a holographic or laser sighting on a target and aiming that so that the missile will aim for that target. Well, what they've done is they find a way to laser guide bullets.
Is it
So
true?
you guys remember that? I know Kelly don't. She definitely didn't watch this because she ain't feeling Angelina. But the movie Wanted, where they're like doing that like crazy action like that, thinking they can curve bullets around corners. They really do have that now. Bullets that can curve, that can slow down speed, that can literally stop. They have that technology now.
Is that the taser you're talking about? The shockwave taser?
Oh yeah, shockwave.
Oh, so
That's-
it's like, oh, that's why it's crowd control. I'm thinking it was still a gun. Okay.
Well, that's one version of it.
That looks
But when it's
that,
in full effect like that, it has rows and rows and rows, and it shoots up to 25 feet, so that it can hit multiple people at the same time and tase them.
this looked like the modded version of if you ever play Ghost of Tsushima, you have to disarm their ballista where it's like they light sticks on fire and just shoot them or arrows,
Mhm.
whatever they are. That's what it looks like, just modded.
Well, I mean, there's like, if you guys see that new, if you guys see that automatic shotgun that they have out there with the silencer on it, man, that thing is sick. I mean, well, I got some shit for y'all in this video. Right now, I gotta try to cut it down. I mean, there,
It's a taser. It's a taser. Variant asked, "What is that?" I said, "It's a taser."
yeah, crowd control taser. So what they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to take like two of these, maybe three, depending on how they want to set it up. And so you line those up together. Now you can set a buffer around you for crowd control, and it just shoots out about 25 feet,
I
hits
pulled it up.
everybody, and starts dropping people.
Look at, is this the one you're talking about, Marcus?
Yeah, I'll pull it back up.
This looks deadly. Like, this looks nuts. This looks like a Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's a shotgun.
This looks like a Call of Duty gun.
Yeah. Click on it so you can bring it up big so they can see that. You
Okay.
see that drum that sits on it?
Marcus, have you ever played Black Ops, Marcus?
Yeah.
Zombie? Yeah, this looked like when you pack a punch a gun 6 times.
Yeah, this is what's coming. I mean, do you know, man?
Look,
If I wasn't on my phone, I would send you some of the stuff that I already have as far as the video.
Lawson, take
They
it.
already have in China. They already have the robotic what they say police assist.
See, this the
Police
shit
assist.
that you know when if you know the woke people want to do comic books, they should be making some of the heroes, at least the street level ones, like the Daredevils, the Luke Cage, the Iron Fist. You know, they should be making them go after this kind of shit. You know, but they're too busy wanting to make them, you know, have like Gary Oldman. Yes, correct, Kelly.
Oh,
They
I didn't
should
even
be
tell you about
having
the
them do that.
flamethrower.
Wait, what? A
By
flamethrower?
Elon?
The
Elon.
flamethrower is sick.
Wait. I know we kind of veered off. I know we kind of veered off topic talking about weapons of mass destruction.
I'm sorry. I used to be a weapons guy, so I
No,
used to get excited about looking at bombs and weapons and go out and shoot. And like we literally at the end of each quarter when I was in Italy at that weapon station Sigonella, we would go out and at the end of the quarter we had like a couple of old Italian tanks that would sit out there, and we would just like light shit up. I mean, literally like light shit. I mean, we're out there with shooting off grenade launchers and and all kind of shit. RPGs. We were having a good ass time. We got the 50 cal out, and I'm talking about 50 cal on a mount and the Mark 20. What is it? Mark 24, Mark 25. I'm trying to remember. 50 cal sniper rifle.
It sounded like you guys had the cheat code in GTA and it was just like pop, 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 pop.
All the stuff that you guys saw in like this Ghost Recon shit, we used to. When I was your age, I was playing with this shit. And the thing about it is, when you're attached with SEAL teams, you handle a lot of their different weapons, and basically they get shit that's not military, not standard military. They're able to basically say, hey, you know what? Can you give me some of those Bellini shotguns? And I was wondering, can you give me a couple of Tovar fully automatics? And I'm trying to remember what that Israeli gun is, which you can click and it shoots around corner shot. And get me a couple of those corner shot rifles. For those who don't know, this gun literally shoots around corners.
You know what's whack about that, Marcus?
What?
all the money they put into spending on those weapons to not use them right away for them to sit for a little bit. Maybe they're using them in practice or places we don't know. But on a large scale, for you to use all that spending, but yet you can't even give money to these local schools just to
Oh
have
yeah.
after school programs, just to keep these kids off the streets. You want to
Why
also
do you think? Why do you think the defense budget is always so damn high?
always high.
A big chunk of this goes to DARPA, and DARPA is always coming up and trying to come up with new weapons. In fact, look up corner shot rifle to show people if they're not familiar with it. Because you see that corner shot rifle, they don't have to look you in the face to shoot you.
Oh, this looks nuts.
You see it?
Oh, okay. Let me show you what people actually holding it. Oh my God, this looks nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see my screen?
Hold on a second.
Hold on.
Is it up? Okay, now I'm put it back up.
Okay.
Yes, the video games are coming to life for real. Like a lot of stuff we
Oh,
saw in movies
Marcus.
back in the day is about to be you about to start seeing this shit on the streets
Oh,
for real.
Marcus. Before we get out of here, can I show them that clip I sent you at the end when we get? Because I do have a metaverse question for Cy Lawson when he gets back. So I just want
Okay.
people to see how clear these video games are going.
Yeah,
Look,
this right here is the corner
look that
shot.
gun.
This is the corner shot rifle right here. Where yeah, they don't have to come out of their position. They can literally shoot you around a damn corner.
You gonna run up with a knife and sword like this is Sparta.
Oh shit! You ought to see the the new tactical ballistics gear.
Oh,
You can stand at somebody, literally just shooting. Let's say oh yeah, that's right, because everybody loves the AR-15s. You can literally just be just painting somebody with it, and they're just boom 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 boom, just rock backwards and keep
and
coming at you.
and all those bullets are probably hollow pointed as well, and they're probably packing a way stronger punch.
You better have armor piercing. That's the only thing you have that can fuck with that. Hollow points are just gonna turn to smush. They're not gonna do anything.
Mm.
See, the thing about a hollow is hollow
Oh,
is not as effective when you shoot it into any kind of armor or Kevlar. The thing about a hollow is when it goes in, once it hits, it starts to smash. And especially if you're shooting from, say, a 9 millimeter, which shoots at a very high velocity, it rips as it goes through. So as it rips, it tears all the way through to create a bigger hole on the way out versus a traditional 9 millimeter bullet, which travels very fast, goes straight through you. And a lot of times you're able to survive them. That's the reason why you heard people back in the early 90s getting shot 5 and 6 times and surviving it because that 9 mil round was traveling through them so quick. But they got hit with something a little bit heavier, say a 45, 40 cal. I mean, not 40 cal, but they got hit with a 40 or 45. You saw a little bit different. Maybe even a 38 round, because that 38 round travels at a slower velocity. That slower velocity lets the slug get stuck inside of you, and it tumbles on the inside, doing more damage once it enters the body.
so Cy Lawson, what do you think about this gun?
Say it one more time.
So what do you think about this gun? It turns so you don't even have to leave your position.
Um, I mean, it's just weapons of mass destruction that these people specialize in. Whether
Hmm.
it's an atomic bomb or whether it's a gun that could shoot around corners or shoot through Kevlar. I mean, these people you've heard the term before, they're merchants of death, and that's what they're selling you, just merchants of death. They won't figure out a way how to prolong life in in a good way but they will find a way to subtract life in the most
Mm-hmm.
harmful way. So I mean,
King
it's to be
Leopold.
expected given who is in control of this. They are savage, if we're just
Yep.
keeping it
Exactly.
real.
So to go back to our metaverse, you asked me a question. So I have two questions for you. Since you asked me a question on peers and my other, well, just other acquaintances I have. So, what do you think about crypto? Both of you guys, what do you guys think about crypto playing a part in us shifting into the metaverse?
I mean, crypto crypto's clearly here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere.
Hmm.
Um, the only thing is, what is the government and the banking cartel going to do about it? They're not going to shit on it because they see it's very popular. Unfortunately, like other things that they don't come up with, they will find a way to bring it into the fold. They'll find a way to create their own version of it and get people to buy into that. So I think crypto, as it exists to disrupt the conventional bankers, it's like a tennis match, right? The ball's in their court now. Now they're serving, so um, they'll take whatever these new users are doing, and they'll find a way to make it work against them.
All right, Marcus, you.
I guess I'll make mine kind of short. And I guess any questions that you have on crypto, please make sure to send them to me because next week we're gonna have Jack Sith and Shadowban on, and I kind of lean to them on a lot of my questions as far as crypto.
Is that for
Um,
Matrix or for Talk of the Ages?
no. That'll be on the political matrix.
Okay, got you.
Um, or make sure to hop in the chat and then any kind of questions you have, I'll make sure to ask for you. Um, but I honestly feel like all of this is all tied in, and it is all moving us closer and closer to Agenda 2030. So the whole crypto is all going to be tied in with the metaverse because as they start getting us more and more tied in with the metaverse, and we're working in the metaverse, and people are starting to spend more and more time in the metaverse. I mean, they're already trying to get it to a point where, in certain places, you're not allowed to come to the stores where you got to buy the stuff and it has to be brought to you. And so it's just trying to get us more and more accustomed to staying at our homes,
Okay.
being more isolated. And I think all of that is going to be pushing and pushing us more into the metaverse.
Sorry, Marcus. So, Lawson, last question before you get out of here. So, I want to ask you, being a parent, what advice or okay, maybe not advice. What are just your thoughts and feelings on how parents are going about dealing with children of this day and age? Maybe not my generation per se, but maybe like 6 years younger, with them just being so into their phones and even just tracking their every movement. So I'll just let you take it from here.
You're asking me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, because my sound is really low, so I heard only
Okay.
a portion of your
Well,
comment.
I was saying, as you being a parent, and we've been speaking about the metaverse, what are your thoughts and feelings on what they are doing to even kids, not even just my age group, but even a little bit younger, 13, 11, 10, 9? And what do you think of how parents are going about just giving them phones and things like that, and even just tracking their every movement? So that's what I was asking.
I mean, if I think I know what you're asking. Think we have to take our cues from the 1%, right? Don't let your kids use it.
Hmm.
They don't give their kids phones. They don't give their kids access to the applications they create. They don't let them use much of this technology that they are selling to the public. So I think there's something to be said about, think about it. If you're a basketball player, if your son wants to play basketball, you're all for that as long as they're showing you the skill set and the promise and the dedication to the craft, right? um think about it. If these guys are making this technology that the rest of the world is using and everyone is enjoying using it, and for the creators to look at their own children and say, Nah, not you. Think we should take heed to that and pay attention to them saying that this dope shit I created that I've had a hand in creating that we're not gonna let you use. There's a reason for that, and they know it. So
And
I
they also
think
say that they don't want to get addicted, but even they're addicted.
correct.
I would add to that, I guess not being a parent, but looking at it from a different light, you know, if you think about most top level drug dealers, they don't use the shit that they're selling. They don't want none of the people around them using the shit that they sell. And you got to take a hint to that. Why don't they want anybody around them or anybody they care about using the shit which they give to everybody else? Because they know it's poison. And that's the same thing with these elites. They know what they're giving out is a form of poison. Now, granted, you can take morphine, which is a byproduct of heroin. It's all in the same family. One can kind of help save you if in the proper doses, and the other could kill you. And they don't even want to take the chance of their people possibly getting hooked on it because they know what it could do.
And
And they know how dangerous it is.
and another thing, how are parents gonna combat trying to keep their kids away from the metaverse before it's too late when they're gonna buy them all these video
Too
games
late.
and
You already said it. It's too late.
that's what I'm saying. So I was adding another point. How are they gonna protect their kids when they're about to buy them new PS5s and different things that can you guys see the screen?
Oh, hold on. There's just too much pressure. There's too much pressure. Oh shit, hold on. That I feel that it's already added into the system, and peer pressure is what does it. Oh yeah.
Can you guys see?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how are parents gonna stop it when it's already too late when they've already bought them? When the games are coming out looking like this? I mean, we don't. I don't even have to go all the way into the video for you guys to just see.
I literally thought that it just somebody had a camera mounted and they were riding. I did not know that was a damn video game.
I sent it to Marcus. He was like, "Yo, I thought that was real," and I said, "No, that's just what the modders do." So the modders, they are honestly better than the developers that the corporations actually hire because they don't have any licensing. They're just free nerds just doing cool stuff on the computer. And if they could take that, transfer that over from their computer to the PlayStation 5 and make it look like that, who's to tell you what they already have? We don't even know what they already have. Like you already said, Cy Lawson, when it becomes available and it's already too late.
Yeah. But that's hey, I mean, all I can say, I'm trying to remember who said it yesterday on the political matrix. They said it best, man. You just got to guard your own at this point. That's all you can really do, and just try to be aware of what's going on. Yeah, I guess on that note we can kind of wrap it up. But yeah, man, it's a strange and crazy, brave new world, I guess, coming up. So, Chris, would you like
Some of us,
to add
some of us
anything?
have jobs. Some of us have to get up in like 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Same.
So
I work tomorrow too.
yeah. So yeah. Any closing words, sir?
Well, thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I watch you guys. I don't really know you guys too well. I don't know why you invited me on here. I really don't like black people, you know.
Oh,
So
we
I
know
don't know why, but
you said
no,
that
I
we know who your
appreciate coming
father
on,
is.
man. It's
Well,
cool.
well, well. Of
I do.
course, I thought it would be good to have a black on. You know.
Yo, you
You
know
know.
what's You know what they were
we
trying to do?
gotta make sure that we give a platform for the blacks.
No,
You know.
you got to make it seem like black dads are in their child's life. They do podcasts with them.
Well, I mean, well, shit. He's just one. I mean, it took us a long time to find this one. The damn jigs. I don't really like hanging out with him that much. If I'm being honest.
Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, thanks, man. I'll let y'all close it out. I'm gonna sign off. Audience, thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'll talk to both of y'all later on. Appreciate it. I'll holler.
Be easy.
Alrighty. Be easy, brother.
So,
So glad to have Cy Lawson on. It was always fun as usual.
sad, Marcus. It's
that?
later, but I still feel like I could go for another 2 hours.
Oh man, I got to get myself off of here and start shutting it down. That's why I said, we got to figure it out so that we can get in here a little bit earlier. That way, you can be able to drag it out a little while longer if you like.
Because we could take it from 9, and then even if we can get something going, like if we have a guest on the show like that again, we could even take it from maybe 9 to 12. We can get us a 3-hour show.
Well, and also the fact of have to keep in mind too where the guests are at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the East Coast, you guys, it's a little bit later for you guys over there, so got to keep that in mind. Kelly said, "Awesome show with the token black. Much love."
Okay, so what do you really want to
and
get?
Thank you, Variant.
Thank you, Variant. So, what are you looking forward to really discussing on next week's show, or maybe even if we can get another one in the middle? I'm looking to try to get another one out during this week if we can.
I mean, I guess we'll see. I do got an interview on Friday. Whew.
No worries. That's something we could settle up behind the scenes.
Jeez. I had an interview on Friday. And a Variant said best thing y'all had going was all blackmail. Yeah, blackmailing. That's what we're doing here. We're blackmailing black males. But yeah, I will be on the Frank Analysis Friday. And then on Saturday, we will have Shadow Band and Jack Sith on the Political Matrix. I got a video coming up sometime this week. I'm working on doing the editing on that weapons video. And I want to try to get that out. So we might talk weapons next show. I'd like to talk some of this future tech, and I guess we could go through my video and break down some of it. I'm probably going to upload it on this channel.
I also wanted something to bring up. I see we got everybody in here is pretty well diverse on if we go on music, movies. But I really wanted to point out a lot of shady stuff that goes on in the industry because I'm a big music head. It doesn't.
We can. Well, next week. This just because we had a special guest, we wanted to talk. On that one specific topic. The interview, but our next show, of course, we can go back to a couple of different topics.
Yeah, so we could definitely iron that out.
Yeah, we'll iron it out. But thank you, everybody, every single person who tuned in for us. We appreciate it. I even worked out how to do this little banner thing, which I'm going to start doing on all my shows. And I'm going to take Mona's advice, what she said earlier about making sure to put put the Discord in there so you all can start coming in and joining the Discord and having fun in the conversation. I appreciate you guys so much for being in there. Oh yeah, I forgot. I guess plug this. The Friday after next, I'll be on Revolutionary Blackout on with Sabrina or Sabby, lovingly known to a lot of people. So yeah, I look forward to that. It'll be a little bit larger platform than I've been on in a minute. But yeah, I look forward to that. And y'all have a good and safe week. Jalen, you have anything you like? I'll let you close it out. Anything you'd like to say, and then you can give us a send off.
So honestly, this was honestly my first guest experience. So this was a dope experience. Thank you for being here for this experience, the laughs, the jokes, And then I also want to give you guys something to look forward to week by week.
Oh, I forgot one more thing I wanted to tell you. I do have a couple of artists which I would like to. I'm gonna try to reach out to, and so
I mean, if
I
we can,
figure you'll probably have some great questions for them. So one, I believe I'll tell you off camera. I don't want to spoil it just yet because I want to make sure I get that I'm able to get those guests. So I don't tease the audience, and get somebody that I can't get on here. But I'm working on a couple of more independent, artists who are kind of getting their start. Some of them you might not have heard of at all, but once you hear of them, you might enjoy their work and their content. So
so
keep an eye out for that.
got you. So another thing is also, even just to this episode, it's just been a lot of fun with what we've been doing. It's good to come up on here. Always, always. Oh my lord! You're gonna get me in trouble.
Oh, Kelly's so wild.
Yeah, y'all gonna get me in trouble. I got family watching this. Nah, I'm just playing.
Hmm. But sorry, yeah, going ahead.
But no, I was just saying this has just been dope, and I think it's cool that we could come up on here and even a platform for someone, my father's age, for us to be able to just go back and forth and just speak about different things is dope because I also get a history perspective. I'm learning so much as I'm speaking because as I'm teaching you guys about what's in with the new, I'm also learning how we transition from that to this and how we kind of got there. And then as time's going on for the guys younger than me, I can tell you how it was when I was coming up to even by the time I was 21 years old. And then they could be like, damn, that was all going on when I was a kid. Like, yeah, you didn't know because you were a kid. But, I think they'll see it now more on social media. But to not go off point, I just want to say it was a great show. Thank you, everyone. And to my co-host, Young Morpheus, Marcus spoiled the movie Cage. I'm your other co-host, Jay, and it's been a wrap. Good night, everybody.